one drop gets on my car floor, you're throwing that out.
I'm trying to eat it nicely.
Welcome, everybody, to another movie review where we talk about the Florida Project. And kind of wish we were in Florida right now because, you know, this cold weather sucks. New York weather for you folks. Anyway, this is sort of the Oscar season now we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that basically, you know, we're seeing a lot of Oscar type movies now. This is one of them. And, you know, where would you like to start with the Florida Project, sir?
Unique. Very unique.
Very unique.
Very unique and interesting.
Okay. Very interesting.
I'll let you go. What'd you like the best about the movie? Plot?
Well, I think the thing to start is basically the fact of this movie is sort of about, how do you want to say it? About sort of like slums, almost. Not really slums, I guess, but like, you know,
Homeless.
Homeless. Not exactly homeless per se, because they're in these motels, but very, very like, you know, almost like not run down really, but
I would say a little rundown. Well, that's why you have the word project in it, you know, because it's supposed to remind you of the projects.
yeah, sort of the projects and the idea that basically, in a nutshell, you know, these people are poor. They're living in these sort of motel projects type of places, and it focuses on a small group of people that are dealing with, you know, money issues, and they're dealing with
Misbehaved
children, and basically everything that revolves around that, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what did you think of the plot and everything?
I thought it was a very strong plot.
Okay.
I thought it was gotten to shows what these kids are like. It depends how they're raised, how they treat adults. I thought the plot was very strong on that, showing the children, showing the progression of the children,
Okay.
showing how friendships are built, showing how the neighbors act towards each other, and how you build connections. And I think it shows what people will do to not be homeless, what this woman went through to, you know, what she had to do to stay. It was a hotel, had to stay at the hotel so she wouldn't be on the streets. She did some very seedy things. So I think it shows a whole. There was a lot of drama, and I think it wasn't really a funny movie. I wouldn't say it was funny, but
No.
there wasn't a lot of funny parts, but it was very dramatic, and I think it showed a lot of different elements of the human psyche.
No, I think it did too. And, you know, the thing about it is, like, you know, let's think about this for a second, and the idea that these are real places.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this is a made up thing. I mean, you know, you have this interesting sort of thing that it's basically in every state.
Mm-hmm.
Is every state, in every sort of city, there's always this type of area. There's no avoiding it, you know, but I thought it was very fascinating, the idea of, you know, sort of delving into that world. And even though it's not a documentary, it feels like it's almost very real.
That's what you call a mock documentary.
To a certain degree, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I didn't think it was a bad movie. I liked it.
No, I mean,
I thought the plot was very good.
I mean, and we had talked about in our previous review of, I had asked you, okay, you know, do you want, you know, stronger plot, weak acting, strong acting, weak plot, and you, of course, wanted strong plot.
Absolutely. And this plot was very clear to understand. It was, as the movie said, you don't have to get into details. We don't even have to give spoilers on this movie. It was about homelessness, and it, I would say, go see the movie because it's about homelessness. It's about America, and it's about, you know, they showed Disneyland was very close by, and it showed this was like a suburb of Disney. I think Kissimmee, Florida. Kissimmee, or it was a suburb
It was a suburb of some
Orlando,
sort of, yeah, something around Orlando.
But it was really, it showed what parents go through, what the neighborhood goes through, and
Well,
how they have to earn money and whatever.
well, I mean, for me personally, look, I mean, at the end of the day, it really shows the struggles, but I look at the one main woman that they focused on.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of see a woman that, probably didn't have the greatest home life, probably when she was younger. Got pregnant at an early age, didn't.
Still into partying.
Still into partying, never really established herself. And she's now got to take care of her little girl, but still wants to be sort of that party chick, but doesn't really have the responsibility to raise a child.
No. But she, at the beginning, it showed her downward spiral, because when she went to, this is one spoiler, she went to the welfare office, and she said, I put in applications, and I don't know if it's true or not, at every store on the strip. They don't want to hire me. So you say she's trying to make an effort before she has the downward spiral.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. It's kind of tough to say because, she says she's trying, but yet here she is. She's buying this cheap perfume in bulk, selling it to these, rich people at this kind chorus or country club people, and she's making more money like that. She's bumming off of her friend free food.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically slumming it in her apartment.
Oh yeah. That's the downward spiral. I mean, shows through the movie.
Well, yeah, but she lives like a pig.
Yeah.
And I mean, she has no motivation almost. I mean, really, if we're sitting here saying the honest truth.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's how, when you get to that level of your life, that's how a lot of people get. There's just, sometimes they have no hope. Her little girl was her hope. And if you see in the movie that, her hope kind of gets destroyed.
Well, yeah, but here's really the thing I ask you is like, when do you start to open your eyes and say, oh my God, I need to change?
Some people never do. I don't know. I don't think it was just about this woman, though. I think the plot was also about the manager's position in it. He really was looking out for her little kids. The manager at the hotel, I think he really that was played by William Dafoe.
Yep.
He was really looking out. I think the little kids, they also showed the story of how they were friends, they got into trouble, they did some bad things, they got into trouble, and showed the dynamic of that friendship and how they became, really good friends. And I like the little kids, showing the little, the friendship with the little kids and how they get along.
I mean, I liked that, but even that, I mean, I thought the acting with the little kids was good. Now, of course, I'm not gonna fault kids because they're kids and they're gonna act the way they act. But did you think at times, wow, these kids are not very well behaved?
Oh, absolutely.
Kids.
Absolutely. But I thought to go into the acting, William Dafoe did a wonderful job in this movie. I'm surprised he did such a small budget film, but he did a really wonderful job. I think he really is one of the reasons I like the movie is because of his acting. And the other people, they weren't bad. They were fresh. They were freshman actors. They were very new to the scene.
Yeah, they were new.
These little kids probably never acted in a movie before. And I don't think this was a movie where you had to do a lot of acting because they wanted it to be like a mock documentary. They wanted to make it look almost like a documentary, focus on these people. So I don't think the acting, it had to be real. I think these people had to convey a real message. That might have been tough for them, but they made it seem very real.
They made it seem very real, and you are right that they want to get the message across, and I think they did a good job with that. I mean, do you think that, because yes, there is a plot here, but do you think that it's a strong plot, or do you think that it's kind of strung together by scenes more than it is
I think
actually?
It's strung together by scenes. I think the plot could have been stronger, and I think a little bit it dragged a little bit. I think the movie dragged a little bit. I think this was probably about hour and a half to probably almost 2 hours, I'd say.
I would have to say it's close to 2 hours, if not
I
more.
think they could have cut a half hour out of it. I really do. I think the last half hour just kind of, not even the last half hour. I think they could have cut certain scenes out of the movie. I think the movie kind of dragged a little bit for me. I think there's a lot of scenes that they really didn't need. They just added. There was one scene, I'm going to spoil it, which I was kind of stupid. There was a scene with an old guy. They made you believe he was a pedophile because he's at the park, and William Dafoe's like, "Get the hell out of here," and throws a soda, and he's like, "I'll take your name, call the police." I don't think he needed that scene. I don't think it was really essential to the movie.
No, I mean, the only thing I would say it's essential to is the idea of this is a danger that these type of places probably have to deal with at times.
Yeah, maybe that's true, and that you got a manager that's looking out for the kids.
I mean, that's probably the thing about it, but I do agree with you that
I think certain scenes now, you didn't need them.
I do agree. Certain scenes you didn't need them. And is this a movie that's gonna gain a lot of Oscar buzz? I don't know. I
don't think for the acting it will. I think maybe for directing it might.
Well, I did think that the director did a really great job with this movie. He directed another movie called Tangerine.
And then, he did 3. This is his 3rd directorial debut. He had a sling of 3 movies.
Yeah, and I never saw the last one, so I can't even comment on that. But like I said, I thought he did a good job with this. I believe they had a $2 million budget, and I thought, okay, it looks. I thought they put the money on the screen. I liked the design of the buildings. I liked the color schemes. I liked what they did with everything. I liked that, and I know that they definitely, when they were coming up with this movie, that basically in a nutshell it was the director had seen a lot of kids playing hide and go seek in these sort of slum sort of motels, and he thought, well, where's the supervision? Where's the adults? Why are these kids all here? What's the story behind this? And that's how this movie got rolling.
And that was a big theme in the movie, the hide and seek games.
Well, it's just the idea of the kids really, getting into trouble in general.
And not when Seth says trouble, he's not talking what normal 10 or 12-year-olds get in trouble.
No.
These kids are getting into some big trouble.
Yeah, they're getting into like big trouble, whether it's and I won't really spoil it too much, but whether it's sort of like turning the power off to, the entire apartment complex, or bumming money off of strangers, stuff like that.
Stuff that normal kids
probably wouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
These kids do. Again, I think this movie really brings up an interesting idea of a vicious cycle, of the idea that, parents or young people who are not ready to be parents are parents and raising kids in very irresponsible ways, and those kids are gonna do the same thing. It's just a vicious cycle over and over again. Yeah. And now let me ask you, because again, we're not gonna try to spoil it, but the ending, what happens with the mother and the little girl, and sort of, what did you think about all that?
I know you didn't like it. I think that had to happen. I think that was a good conclusion to the movie. I think it really showed the downward spiral. You knew that was going to happen. If they didn't add that, I would have been upset. I think that was important, what happened between the mother and the daughter. I think it was really, really important that they showed that, because it showed real life. You're trying to imitate, movies try to imitate real life, or some movies. This movie was really trying to imitate what homelessness is like, what it is like in these slums, and I think it did a good job. And I think you needed that aspect of the movie.
Well, I think so too. I liked that part of it. I didn't like the very ending.
No, that was a little bit confusing.
The ending was a little bit confusing. It almost felt like, It almost felt like a dream. Almost, where I was like, wow, this almost feels like a dream in this little girl's head, but I doubt it was. But it
was real.
It just felt like it to me. Yeah. like I said, the acting is pretty decent. I think the plot is pretty decent. It's been getting a lot of good reviews from critics, and I can see why.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know if it's going to get an Oscar, but it is Oscar-worthy in my opinion. I will say that. I really do think it is Oscar-worthy. Maybe not for acting, but directing, I think. I think this is phenomenal directing.
yeah, I think so too. So, I mean, you know, for me, I mean, let me just eat the soft stuff. I'm like,
He's eating the ice cream for this review because there was a lot of ice cream eating in this movie.
yeah. So, the ice cream is good though.
Yes, go to Stewart's. Oh, tell him about the movie theater.
Oh, I will talk about the movie theater real quick, but before we give our rating and everything, so we ended up going to this theater that we normally don't go to, and it's this old time art cinema theater
In Manlius.
in Manlius, New York, and it felt like almost stepping into the 1920s.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, it was crazy. It like was stepping into an old time 1920s theater almost, with like modern sound and everything. And you know, the old man who owns the theater came up and was giving us information about the movie and everything.
A whole
like,
intro.
A whole intro to the movie. It was crazy, man. I've never experienced that before. And I gotta admit, I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was a very interesting
Kind of
experience.
cool. I was like, okay, this is new and interesting, and I'm not really prepared for it, but I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, what are your final thoughts and grade rating on the Florida project, sir?
I like the directing. I like the acting. And believe it or not, I like the plot. I mean, it dragged a little bit for me. The only reason I said some scenes could be taken out, I'd have to say I'd give this probably a high B+, maybe an A-, in between a B+, high B+ and A-, because I think that directing was great. I think the acting was really good, especially first-time actors. And I think the plot was pretty strong. Just a few scenes could be taken out. The reason I'm not giving it a high rating is because it dragged a little bit. But it's definitely worth the movie seeing. If you don't want to see the movie theaters, definitely rent it when it comes out, or definitely rent it on a family video or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I didn't really talk too much about Willem Dafoe too much, but I think he did a fantastic job. Willem Dafoe is awesome in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him recently with Bob when him and I saw Murder on the Orient Express.
Okay.
So he doesn't mind doing big budget work. He doesn't mind doing small budget stuff like this. He's a great actor. He does a phenomenal job in the movie. I think all the kids do a pretty decent job. I think the main actress in it, I forget her name offhand, she was okay. Wasn't great.
I think did a good job.
But I think did a decent job too. I thought everybody did a good job with what they actually had. And I thought, you know, overall, you know, the plot is pretty solid to a certain degree. Very almost like docudrama, as you had mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not playing in a lot of theaters right now, so there's not many chances to see it yet. But I think that when you get a chance, it's definitely worth a watch. Mm-hmm. I absolutely think it is. You won't get to see it in an old-time 1920s-esque theater like we did, but, you know, I mean, hey, you know, not everybody can, you know, not everybody can find weird places to go see a movie like we can, but yeah, so my grade rating would probably be a high B.
Okay, so I'm a little bit higher than you.
You're a little,
I said B+, A-.
Yeah, you're a little bit higher than me, but you know what? I still think is actually a really solid movie to sort of go and watch. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said, this is sort of the start of a lot of Oscar-worthy movies coming in these next couple of months. And, you know, it's kind of interesting to see, oh, you know, is this going to get nominated? Is this kind of a movie thing? It's kind of interesting to sort of take your bets on which stuff is going to get nominated. I don't think this is going to get quite as much fare as I think people might think it will, but I think it's still definitely something that people should absolutely check out.
Absolutely.
So, damn, you finished your ice cream already.
I just got a kitty cone. You got a freaking waffle cone.
I'm the man of the car. I have to get a big boy cone. Okay? Oh, jeez. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the movie review. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. And we will be back next time for another movie review. Unfortunately, with no ice cream, but it was good, though. Take care, guys.